The truth about Leviticus, God's commandments revealed. In the book of Leviticus, God's voice resonated with authority as he spoke to Moses. His words were filled with directives intended for the Israelites. Moses listened attentively, aware of the significant responsibility placed upon him. His task was to convey these divine laws to the people. God's message was clear: I am the Lord your God. This declaration established his authority and the expectations he had for his people. God also cautioned against following the customs of the Canaanites, the people of the land they were entering. He wanted his people to remain distinct and pure. Obedience to God's laws was paramount. The Israelites were called to live in a way that was pleasing to the Lord, setting them apart from other nations. God's commandments were comprehensive, covering various aspects of life, including worship, diet, and social relations. Each law had a purpose, aiming to foster a holy community. The emphasis was on holiness. God desired that his people be holy because he himself is holy. This call to holiness was central to their identity as God's chosen people. The Israelites were encouraged to internalize these laws, making them a part of their daily lives. It was not just about external compliance, but a transformation of the heart. The Israelites were encouraged to internalize these laws, making them a part of their daily lives. It was not just about external compliance, but a transformation of the heart. God's laws also promoted justice and compassion. They included provisions for the poor and marginalized, reflecting God's love and care for all. Living according to God's decrees would lead to a harmonious and prosperous community. It was a path to experiencing the fullness of God's blessings. In Leviticus, the laws of God were more than rules. They were a covenant, a sacred agreement between God and his people, calling them to a life of devotion. The hidden secrets of Leviticus revealed. In the ancient book of Leviticus, God speaks directly to Moses. His words are filled with laws and decrees for the Israelites. These commands were designed to guide their everyday lives. The Lord instructed Moses on how the Israelites should conduct themselves. God's aim was for them to live in a manner that was pleasing to him. His directives were clear and specific. God emphasized the importance of distinguishing themselves from other nations. Do not follow the practices of Egypt where you used to live, he commanded. This was a call for separation from past influences. Additionally, God warned against adopting the customs of Canaan, the land they were to inhabit. He wanted the Israelites to avoid their practices entirely, keeping his laws instead. This was crucial for maintaining their identity. Obedience to these laws was paramount. God wanted the Israelites to embody holiness in their actions and attitudes. This was not just about rituals, but about the essence of their daily living. God's commandments covered various aspects of life, from dietary restrictions to moral behavior. Each law had a purpose, reflecting God's holiness and justice. The people were to mirror this in their conduct. One significant aspect of these laws was their emphasis on purity. God required the Israelites to be ceremonially clean, setting them apart from other nations. This was symbolic of inner spiritual purity. Another critical element was the system of sacrifices. These offerings were a means to atone for sins and maintain a relationship with God. They underscored the seriousness of sin and the need for redemption. God also established festivals and Sabbaths as part of his laws. These were times for the Israelites to rest, reflect, and renew their covenant with him. They provided structure and rhythm to their lives. Social justice was another cornerstone of God's laws. He commanded fair treatment of all people, including foreigners and the poor. This reflected his desire for a community based on righteousness and compassion. The laws also addressed issues of health and hygiene. God provided guidelines to prevent disease and promote well-being. These instructions were practical, ensuring the community's overall health. Relationships were a focus of God's commands as well. He outlined how people should treat one another, emphasizing respect, love, and faithfulness. This created a cohesive and caring society. The overarching theme of Leviticus is holiness. God declared, "Be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy." This call to holiness was meant to permeate every aspect of life. In essence, the book of Leviticus is a guide to living in harmony with God and others. Its laws and decrees were more than rules. They were a path to a life that honored the Creator.